Hello, welcome to another episode of the G.I. Joe New News Review. This is our JoeFest 2025 recap. I am David Allen. Thank you for joining me this morning. We have a lot to go over to recap JoeFest. It was, let's just say, right off the bat, that it was an incredible show. I want to thank all of my uh, team that worked at JoeFest. Of course, the owners and showrunners are Ed Schumacher and Lauren Schumacher. I want to thank my team that worked with Jason Packard, Jeremy Mays, Rabbit, all our volunteers, Daniel, Samantha, and there was a whole lot more. The Schumacher's daughters. But I think we pulled off another phenomenal Joe Fest. I think most people are pretty happy with what we did and what we accomplished for Joe Fest 2025. So there was lots and lots of people to talk to. Oh, here's one of my compatriots from JoeFest 2025, Michael Gene Fleming. Good morning. It was great seeing you as well, Michael Gene Fleming. We're just going over the JoeFest 2025 recap. You were there, and you can attest this was an incredible year. We broke our sales records for tickets. From everything that I heard, everybody had an incredible time. Everybody had great sales and great business opportunities at JoeFest that they accomplished. You look like you were having a really good time, Michael Gene Fleming. Am I mistaken, or were you having a ball, or what? So Michael Gene Fleming gave me the codes for the classified, which I'm going to be using those when I start getting back to my classified reviews, probably next week, because I got a lot of stuff to do this week. It was a great time. Exactly. That's exactly how I would describe it as well. Perfect, Michael Gene Fleming. Thank you. So yeah, Michael Gene Fleming gave me the codes, so I'm going to be using those for the classified reviews. That's just one thing that I want to show off during this video. I got so much swag, but back to JoeFest itself. So there was a lot of vendors there. They brought the merchandise. Let me just say, they brought the heat. These guys, these vendors, man, there was so much stuff. I didn't have enough money to get everything that I wanted to get, but there were so many awesome vendors that had so much cool stuff. Oh my God. It was unbelievable. My panels went really well. I did the 40th anniversary gem panel with Samantha Newark and Carla Reese, and I got them to autograph my gem doll. So that's going to be in my collection on display from now on with that autograph on it. I want to thank them. They were wonderful, really wonderful, wonderful folks at the show. We had tons of great guests this year. There's so much stuff. I will go over a lot of the guests. Oh, sorry, I did not get a lot of rest during JoeFest. Boy, it was. I was running around like my head chopped off. If anybody was at JoeFest and wants to chime in and to attest to how much stuff I was doing. So this is our 2025 JoeFest t-shirt. It's cool. This cool Zartan t-shirt. It was really, really cool. And then we got our lanyard and our name badges. This year is it was a 90s themed name badge by my good friend Jason Packard. He makes these lanyards and these name badges for the convention and all the VIPs and all the people that work at the show. So thank you, Jason, for all the work that you do there. And as you can see, mine says crew on it. because I'm like a one man crew. Remember the wrestling team, the one man crew? That's basically me. No, no, no. We have a wonderful crew and a wonderful team of people that work on this show, and we're constantly working. We're constantly doing things to improve, trying to help vendors out, trying to help guests out, trying to help everybody involved make their experiences great as we can for JoeFest 2025. It was our best year yet, and it gets better every year. Um, so um, so we there was a bunch of my friends were there, a bunch of people that I've known for decades. A lot of vendors were there that I've known for a long, long time. Some of the good guys that are in the podcast community, from Circle of Jerks, Lawrence, Punk with Toys, from Toy Kind of Mood, Tony's Figs was there. Um, the podcast from the pit was there. They were doing a lot of stuff. Patrick Stewart from Articulate Points and Full Force was there. Um, so again, I also got to do a couple of panels. I did my GEM 40th anniversary panel. I got to be the MC for the Seth Green Stupid Buddies panel with Seth Green, a really good friend of mine, Matt LaCroix. They gave out the exclusive Fumbles figures, and John Haverton, their producer, working on their new show. The Cleanup Crew. That was really a fun panel. Also, I got to sit in on a voice acting panel with Brian Cummings, and we had an incredible lineup of voice actors that were there this year. Not only Brian Cummings, who played Dr. Mindbender, Samantha Newark, who was Jem and Angelica, and a couple other people. We also had Francois Chow, Quick Kick from Lost, and all kinds of other sci-fi and fantasy TV shows. We had Zach Hoffman, who was Zartan. He was a wonderful guy, very, very friendly. Of course, one of my good buddies, Zartan, not Zartan, Sergeant Slaughter. And this year I got to attend the where is the I got to attend the Sergeant Slaughter breakfast, and I got this really cool t-shirt for the Sergeant Slaughter breakfast this year. This is my first year ever attending the Sergeant Slaughter breakfast, and he is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful guest and wonderful man, and I will shout that to the heavens. His agent Paul invited me. AV for panel was a lot better than last year. Yes, um, that's true. We try to go out of our way to make sure that all of our technical difficulties and stuff from previous years was improved, and we're gonna keep improving that. Every year now, we'll get better and better. And thankfully, a really good friend of mine stepped up, James Hitchcock, who also did our karaoke, Joe Fest karaoke night. He helped out and gave a lot of equipment, and several other people gave a lot of equipment and pitched in. Chris Murray helped out, and a few other people helped out too. And we had some new volunteers that helped out with our AV and our panel room as well. I want to thank those volunteers. I can't think of their names off the top of my head. Sorry. Um, so yeah, so our guest Sergeant Slaughter, Paul, his handler, was really, really happy about my involvement and the things that I was doing. So he invited me to the breakfast, and we had a really good time during the Sergeant Slaughter breakfast. I was the MC. We had a special guest, Adam Riches. And we had a blessing done by our Joe Fest. Um, um, I guess you can call him our interim minister, I guess, of services, Jeremy Mace. So he did a beautiful blessing for a family that had lost one of their members, and Sergeant Slaughter talked about that family, and he told some really fun stories. Adam Riches told some fun stories of the origin of the Sergeant Slaughter figure, and how that was made, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So it was a really good time for that panel. I really, really enjoyed the breakfast this year. And I want to thank them for inviting me. It was really, really fun. So let's see what else. A bunch of my friends from Florida came. My friend Stephen Chaser, Brett Barnett, Carlos Barone, Richard Mann. I mentioned Jason Packard, Bill Leach, who is my partner in my own convention that we're doing, and I will talk about that later. As we go forward, we will be talking about my convention, the Central Florida Joe Show. It'll be in Central Florida, starting that, and I will be talking about that a lot more. I'm only going to touch on it here. So what else? Tons and tons of vendors. God, there was so many beautiful. Oh, another really good friend of mine, Dan Klingensmith Jr. So I got to upgrade my set of books. Crusty Old Crow, thank you for joining us. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's been a long weekend, and I'm glad to be back. I had a great time, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of running around, but I am glad to be back. I need to get my rest again. I got 1 through 6 again from Dan, creating GI Joe. I upgraded my set, so now I have all matching. So the first 6 volumes that I had previously didn't match the other volumes, but now I have all matching volumes. He gifted me with another those 6. So thank you, Dan Klingensmith. It was wonderful hanging out with you and having a good time with you. Another good friend of mine, um, James Kavanaugh Jr., that I've worked with for the G.I. Joe fan club for years. He was in attendance. I was very happy that he came, and I got to hang out with him for a little while. I got to hang out with my brothers from Ireland and England, and I got lots and lots and lots of figures from them. Look at all these figures I got. Look at all these figures. I'm going to be talking about all this Palatoy action figures and stuff like that. Man, I got a ton. They were very generous to me and helped me get some Palatoy Action Force figures. So let's see what else. I got a whole bunch of cool stuff. I'm going to go into all that stuff. Trying to think. Oh, some of the great comic book guests that were there, along with Adam Riches. We had Jamie Sullivan, G.I. Joe comic artist. We had Mark Sobel was there. Trying to think of who else was there. We had John, a character actor. I can't think of his full name. John something. Maybe one of you, Michael Gene Fleming, you can think of his name. Uh, Larry Hama was there, definitely. Oh, and the Legacy GI Joe creators. We had tons of Legacy GI Joe creators from the '80s that were there. We had Mark Pennington. We had Ron Rudat. We had Steve Reese. We had um, who I'm trying to think of everybody that was there. Doug, is it? I guess Doug Hart. Yeah, Doug Hart was there. I mentioned earlier. Carla Reese was there. All these legacy. Oh, we had one of the creators of the Classified line, Corey Cantaloupe, was there. He was at the Skeletron Marauder booth. There was so many Hasbro people. It's probably the biggest lineup of Hasbro legacy creators we've ever had in attendance at JoeFest this year. And we had 4 voice actors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 voice actors this year, including Jem and Sergeant Slaughter. We did have one voice actor cancel, Keon Young. He had contracted COVID, so he wasn't able to come. So I'm sad for Keon. Who else? You can see my voice is going because I was the voice of JoeFest 2025. If you were running around there and you heard pages or you had any kind of announcement, that was me that was making all those announcements. Someone said that I had a voice for radio, and I said, well, it's fine if I have a voice for radio, but do I have a face for radio? They said, no, you have a very nice face. So that's good. I didn't have a face for radio, but I had a good voice for radio. So let's get into some of the booths that were there, some of the merchants that we had available. Um, so we had, like I mentioned earlier, Skeletron, Marauder was there. They had exclusives, and they announced the new Aaron Dietrich 6-inch figure that they're going to be doing for the Aaron Dietrich Marauders memorial panel. We also had the I think it was called Xenozoic booth, and they had some awesome dinosaurs and creatures and figures. Man, was that awesome! We had Big Bad Toy Store, so we had the sports line of figures was there. I can't think of all the names of these figures. We had Fans Hobby. Man, they had the tiger hawk, I guess it was called. Man, was that great. I did a comparison shot of their Ostriker versus um the classified vamp, and it is huge. Go on to Mud Toys, you'll see that comparison. It is way bigger than the vamp, way bigger. I did two different shots, one head on and one on top. So, man, was that good. Fans Hobby, they are kicking it out of the park. They're doing some great stuff. We had Carson Metaxas, 3D Joe's was there. And he was showing off all the preliminaries from the Operation Recall line of stuff. I want to thank Carson also for his assistance with the Seth Green panel and his assistance with that AV and everything like that. Who else was there? We had I mentioned the sports line. Oh, Big Bad Toy Store was there. They were showing up all kinds of stuff. My good friends, friends of the show, After Action Report, Roger Tafts, um, uh, Greg Augustin, and Josh Eggerman were there, and they were helping out as well with different things. Oh my God, there was so many wonderful vendors that were there this year. GI Jason. I'm trying to think of everybody that would. Oh, the Finest was there, and they had a really good lineup of stuff going on over in their booth. Um, yeah, the Airhawk. Yeah, man, it was incredible, Crusty Old Crow. It's a good thing you had somebody go there and try to help you get some stuff because there was so much stuff. You could ask Michael Gene Fleming. There was so much. It was hard to not buy everything, but I found some good deals, and people were kind of helping me get things and stuff like that because I was running around and working. So people were trying to help me get things. So like I also got to go hang out with Brian Flynn from Super 7, and we got to do some toy hunting. And I went to this really cool toy store in Augusta, Top Dog Toys, and I was able to get 2 Star Wars figures. I know this is G.I. Joe related podcasts and stuff, but I do love Star Wars, and I try to get as much Star Wars as I can afford. I do get vintage, and I do get Black Series. So I was able to get a Star Wars Ahsoka Balin skull figure, Ray Stevenson figure, which is really cool. I've been looking for that at a decent price. Then I get a Zor figure from Shadows of the Empire. I got both of those at the Top Dog Toys, and they were really cool. If you're in the Augusta area, go to Top Dog Toys. That place was incredible. So hanging out with Brian Flynn, he was shopping and he bought a Batman #4, and he is one of the nicest guys you ever want to hang out with. And I will go into a little bit more of Super 7 when I do my reviews of the new O-Ring, the Reaction Plus, Ultimate Tiger Force, and Python figures. I'll go into more with Super 7 and Brian Flynn, but that's just a little bit. So then a good friend of mine, Will Wells, I had given him a recommendation. He's got this really cool character, the Viking, that he does, Viking Joe. And I said, you should make a figure of that. There's all kinds of people out there that would help you make a figure. And he made a figure and he gifted me a Viking Joe's figure. And I got number 19 of 31. And Will Wells is one of the kindest people in this community. If you've never met Will Wells, go on Facebook. He's on there. He'll be at the Kentuckiana show. He's set up at JoeFest as well. And he is one of the nicest people you ever meet. I really, really like him a lot. And I want to thank him for his Viking King figure. Thank you very much, Will, for this. So let's see. Michael Gene Fleming says, I saw a Top Dog video blurb online. We didn't have time to make it there this year, but Dad and I plan to go and up a day early next year in part to visit them. The place looks amazing from their videos. Yeah, it was really wild. It really was. Another friend of mine, unfortunately, they had to change their shops. They had to move from where they were in Noonan, Georgia, to a new shop in a kind of a shopping center. Is Richard and Kelly Mix from Full Circle Toys, and they've moved all their stuff over, and they've really upgraded their store. So if you have a chance and you go to Noonan, Georgia, look up Full Circle Toys because it is an incredible shop. And Kelly and Richard Mix are wonderful. They are one of the nicest people you ever want to meet. And they were also at JoeFest, and we got to hang out with them and have lunch and stuff like that. And another good friend of mine I got to have lunch and hang out with is Jamie Shoemate. And he was a real comedian this time. He had a lot of funny jokes and stuff like that. And he's a good guy. So another thing that I was able to get as a part of the JoeFest team, I am always given the exclusive, the JoeFest exclusive, and this is the JoeFest exclusive this year. It is the Octo Viper, and the art is done by Mark Sobel. He does the art for this, and it is a really cool figure. They give different figures out every year, and they're awesome. They put them together, and they make the art and everything. And I want to thank Ed Schumann for giving me that, and all the people that worked on this figure. It's a really cool looking figure, I must say. It really is. So then let's see, what else did we get? I went specifically to hunt certain things this year, and some of the stuff that I hunt are Haya figures, and there were a couple of Haya figures I really wanted that were a little pricey, so I was waiting till Sunday, but I waited too long and other people bought them, and so I didn't get them. But I found one Haya figure randomly in a box that somebody was selling a bunch of leftover stuff, and it was a Lady J Haya figure, and it was only $30. I think I got a bargain for that because they're usually very expensive. So I was very happy to get this Haya figure to go along with my other collection. But I missed out on Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes, the first two Haya figures. So I'm still looking out there. So anybody out there that has good deals on Haya figures, please hit me up. I'm trying to get them, but I'm not trying to break the bank with Haya. I would like to get them at a reasonable price. I can spend a little bit more, but I don't want to spend like $100 each. So then another thing that I went to hunt down, and it's one of my favorite lines at the moment, trying to complete, is Sigma 6. And I got this really cool Sigma Strike Duke with armor, and this was only $5. It's got a little bit of a ding on the package up here on the top, but I think I got a really good bargain on this Sigma 6. And I've been buying 90% of the Sigma 6 figures that I bought have been very good deals. I haven't spent that much money on most of them. I think the most I ever spent on one figure is $100, and it was a rare Storm Shadow with a tiger figure that is actually worth a lot more than that. So that was the most that I ever spent on a Sigma 6 figure. Everything else has been below that. $30, $40, $50. That one was $5. Most of them are in the $20 to $25, $30 range that I've gotten, but I have spent a few in the 60s, 50s, 40s. So what else? All right, let's go into some of the fun things that I got here. I got a whole bunch of fun stuff. Let's go into some of this. So this was one of the people that I got where I was trying to get my Sigma 6 figures, but they sold them before I could. Level 7 Toys, one of my good friends that goes to JoeFest every year, gifted me with 2 prints, one Snake Eyes, one Batman. That guy, he can make some custom figures and 3D printed figures. Man, if you haven't looked up Level 7 Toys, you need to. He had a Batman exclusive that was incredible. I did not get it, sorry, but I can only get so much stuff. I only have so much space. But Level 7 Toys, you should look them up on Facebook. Because they make some really good stuff. Man, their 3D printed figures were really, 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 really tight. All right, so let's get into this. Here's something I bought. I buy my comics in advance usually, and I usually get them like a month late. So I was at the Top Dog Comics and wanted to get the latest issue so I could talk about it. So I got the variant of the Skybound issue 8 variant with Baroness on it. So I'll be talking about that soon enough with the rest of those. And then part of my autographs that I was able to get to add to my autograph collection. I'm a huge autograph aficionado, and I get a lot of autographs of people over the years. Different things from Star Trek to Star Wars, different superhero stuff. But I also get G.I. Joe autographs. So I was able to get a autograph of Quick Kick by Francois Chow, and it says David Yo Joe, Francois Chow Quick Kick on it. And then I also got a beautiful autograph from Zach Hoffman, Zartan, since this is our first time meeting. And it says, a gem of this size solves all my problems. Zach Hoffman, Zartan. And he was a very nice guy. He left a little bit early on Sunday because he was sick. But he was a very, very nice guy. I'm very, very happy to have met him and Francois Chow and got to talk to them about different things from their careers. So that's that. So it was difficult. I had so much stuff going on. I had panels that I was emceeing. I was trying to run around doing announcements, and I also tried to be a fan, trying to do all this stuff. And Michael Gene Fleming can attest. He saw me running around in there like crazy. Let's see. Then I got 2 autographed file cards, also from Steve Reese and Carla Reese. That Joe Declassified was able to get. And the people that made those were very, very cool. I want to thank them for their autographs on there. And as well as Carla Reese signing my gem doll, I had Steve Reese and Doug Hart signed my G.I. Joe #1 Treasury Edition. So I've gotten everybody that's worked at Hasbro to sign this. And I've been trying to do this as like an ad hoc, all-in-one thing for all the legacy people that worked at Hasbro to sign. And I've gotten probably about, I would say 30 autographs on this so far. So I added another 2 more this time from Doug Hart and Steve Reese. So I want to thank them for that. That was really generous of them to sign. And Then one of my favorite things to do is when I go to assembly required every year, I I get I collect Brian Michael Gene Fleming. I had Steve autograph a side panel I'll be putting on my Terradrome. Cool. You got a piece of a Terradrome that you got signed by him. He worked on the Terradrome, and I got to watch that panel with him and Joe Declassified, and that put on for the Terradrome creation of the Terradrome, and that was a really cool panel. I want to thank Chris Murray and Joe Declassified for that because that was a really cool panel. Back to this. But whenever I go to Assembly Required, I always get the Cross Cells by Brian Sauer. Assembly Required is his convention in November. That is a wonderful convention. If you have an opportunity and you're in that area, and you can go to Assembly Required, Des Moines, Iowa, I recommend that show. It's a wonderful show. But Brian Sauer is an incredible artist, and he does these cool cross sells for every show. And he's been going to JoeFest the last couple of years, and he's been doing cross sells for JoeFest. So we got a Zartan cross sell, we got a Dr. Mindbender cross sell, we got a Quick Kick cross sell, we got Storm Shadow again. Keon Young did not make it. Sergeant Slaughter, that's I think version 3 maybe, Sergeant Slaughter. And Gem. That was so awesome that they did a Gem cross sell. Brian, he is so awesome. He does such a great job. So there you go. So I got my next batch of cross sells to keep my collection going. I probably have several hundred now cross sells from Brian now, and he does all the work for that. So let's see what else. I would not be able to call myself a Joe fan if I did not pick up a piece of artwork from a Joe artist. And this year I picked up a piece of artwork of my favorite Joe, Spirit versus Storm Shadow, that classic battle by a good friend of mine, Jamie Sullivan. And we're going to be getting our class of 83 prints in a couple of weeks, sometime in July. He said we should be getting our class of 83 prints, and I will show those off when I get them. So that is pretty much all the swag that I got and everything that I got, and I will be going over some Super 7 stuff during a video that I will be doing for Super 7 maybe later today. So stay tuned, Krusty Old Crow, Michael Gene Fleming, and everybody in the chat for that, because that's a whole thing in and of itself, reviewing some cool stuff that I got. I guess I'll show it off briefly, but I will be reviewing this during that Super 7 panel. They were premiered at JoeFest, the new O-Ring Reaction Plus line, and I was able to get 2 of the figures for the O-Ring Reaction Plus of Falcon and the Once a Man Cobra Commander. And I also was able to get both Flint and Destro, Tiger Force, and Python Patrol figures. So I will be reviewing all this during my Super 7 video, possibly later today. We'll see how things go. So look forward to that video. It's going to be a really incredible video, and I'll talk more about Brian Flynn and some of the stuff that's going on with Super 7 during that panel. So I think that covers my JoeFest 2025 review. All the guys that are in the chat, they come and they talk and they contribute. I want to thank you guys for all coming to meet me at JoeFest 2025. Michael Gene Fleming and several other people. Lone Dragon, I think. kind of approached me and told me that they were there, and I talked to them for a little while. Michael Gene Fleming I saw in several panels, and I saw he was helping out Jody classes. No, 3D Joe's Carson, and he was helping out there as a volunteer. So I'm glad that everybody that did go and had a great time, and it was great seeing you all. I look forward to seeing you all in the future. If any of you guys are at Kentuckiana, I will be there at that show again. I go there to visit family and to do some things in the Kentucky area. I'll also be in Ohio visiting some friends. So I look forward to that next month. That'll be in July. And so if there's anything else that anybody would like to add about JoeFest 2025, be my guest. I will try to answer those questions or those comments. So it was a great, great year. I will also be doing a recap of a lot of the things that I've gotten over the last couple of weeks that were not things that I got at JoeFest, because I've been getting a lot of stuff over the last week or so, and there's a lot of stuff coming very soon, classified stuff. I think that covers everything. Unless you guys have any more questions, I'm going to end this, and we will get moving along for our days. Thank you again, everybody in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for watching after the fact. And thank you, everybody, for attending JoeFest 2025. And thank you, all the volunteers and all the people that helped make JoeFest 2025 as great as it is a show. I really, really am proud of everybody and really proud of our show. And I'm very passionate about this audience and this community. So let's start working towards JoeFest 2026. And yo, Joe!